All right, so we're diving deep today, and you guys are really interested in this Andrew Spira, and to be honest,
Yeah,
so am I.
for sure.
I mean, he's an author, an entrepreneur, a speaker, and a coach.
Wow.
He does a lot, but
That's a lot.
it's his comeback story in his mid-20s.
Right.
That's what really got me, you know?
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
It is
yeah.
a really interesting story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really compelling.
It is.
He had some serious adversity, like an online smear campaign,
Right,
which, you know, that could derail
yeah, absolutely.
anybody.
Sure.
But then he becomes this like successful real estate investor
Mhm.
and even goes on to build a business in fintech.
Yeah.
Like fintech.
Fintech.
For our listeners who might not be super familiar with it.
Right.
Basically, it's where finance and technology, they kind of
Yeah,
come together.
they collide.
Yeah, collide.
Yeah.
So think about those apps that that you use to manage your investments, or you know, maybe even those online banks that are
Yeah, popping up everywhere.
everywhere now. Yeah.
That's right.
So we're not just talking about some guy who, you know,
No.
landed on his feet. He like
Yeah,
dove headfirst into some pretty complex stuff.
he did. And, you know, I think what makes it even more striking
Yeah.
is when you look at where he came from.
Right.
His teenage years
Yeah.
were really, really difficult.
Rough. Yeah.
A lot of instability. He didn't have a stable home, and so that makes his success now
Right.
all the more fascinating,
Yeah.
right? He owns multiple homes
Yeah.
in places like Australia, Vanuatu.
And a real rags to riches story.
It really is. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it really makes you wonder how he turned things around.
Right.
So dramatically. Like, I read about that smear campaign. It was some pretty nasty stuff. And, you know, some false accusations spread online.
Right.
You would think that would be like a major setback.
You would think so. Yeah,
You'd think.
definitely.
But he, like, somehow
Yeah.
used it as fuel to move forward.
That seems to be a theme, you know,
Right.
this idea of turning setbacks
Yeah.
into opportunity.
Into opportunities, yeah.
Yeah, he talks very openly about how he learned from those tough early experiences and,
Yeah.
you know, how he really
Yeah.
built resilience, which is such a message
Right.
that resonates, I think, especially with people who feel like they're starting
Yeah.
maybe a little behind.
Yeah, starting from behind. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And it's not just about bouncing back. He
right.
he goes a step further. He
Yeah.
encourages
Yeah.
people to like
Yeah.
embrace challenges
Yeah.
as part of the
Yeah,
journey.
it's all part of it, he says.
Yeah, he talks about finding your passion and then figuring out ways to actually make money from it,
And that's the key.
which is something we all struggle with.
I think so. I think a lot of people
Yeah.
struggle with that.
For sure.
Yeah.
And he doesn't just offer
Yeah.
like these vague platitudes.
Right.
He actually provides
He does. He's got some
Solve
really specific
yeah.
guidance
Yeah.
on how to approach it.
Yeah, and there's this this great anecdote
Yeah.
about a 26-year-old guy who came to him
Yeah.
for advice.
Mhm.
4.5 years sober,
Wow.
no formal education,
know.
starting from scratch. And Spira says, "You're in such a great place, and you don't even realize it."
That's awesome.
I know, right?
Yeah.
What a confidence booster.
Mhm.
I can see why people are
Yeah, I can see it.
drawn to him.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His energy and his message.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
His focus is on
Yeah.
the potential, not on
Yeah.
the limitations.
Right.
And he tells this young man point blank, figure out
Yeah.
what you're passionate about
Yeah.
and then find a way to monetize it.
That is
Yeah.
that is straight talk.
It is.
Right there.
Yeah.
And it's not just coming from, you know,
But-
it's not just empty words.
He's done it.
He's done it. This guy has he built a successful career in real estate
Yeah.
and then jumps into this complex world of
Right.
fintech, and now he's a sought-after speaker
Yeah.
and coach.
It's amazing.
He even finds time for philanthropy.
Wow.
That's a pretty impressive
It is. That's quite a track record.
track record.
Yeah.
It is.
What I think is interesting is
Yeah.
the way that he's connected
Mhm.
all these different pieces
Yeah.
of his life, right?
Yeah.
It's not like they're
Separate.
right.
They're all different expressions
Yeah, yeah.
of this kind of core
Yeah.
set of values and principles.
Right, like overcoming adversity.
Exactly. Learning from mistakes,
Yeah.
taking risks,
Mm-hmm.
always striving for growth.
Yeah.
I mean, these themes run through everything.
Everything he does.
That he does.
It really makes you wonder if there's like a specific strategy he uses to weave it all together.
Right.
I mean, most people struggle to just like
Yeah.
keep up with their day-to-day.
I know, right?
Right.
It's amazing.
Let alone build a multifaceted career like his.
Yeah, I mean, he's very
Yeah.
vocal about the importance of self-education.
Yeah.
He's a big believer in
Yeah.
constantly learning, expanding your knowledge base,
Yeah.
regardless of your background or your formal education. Yeah. Makes you wonder how accessible, self-directed learning, how accessible is it really?
Yeah.
Is it something like anybody can do?
Right.
Or do you have to be
Yeah, that's a great question.
a certain type of person?
I think Spira would say that anybody can do it
Yeah,
if they have the right mindset.
right. Yeah.
It's about being curious,
Mm-hmm.
willing to learn from your mistakes,
Right.
and being really persistent
Yeah.
in going after your goals.
Mm-hmm.
He often
Yeah.
uses this analogy of a muscle.
Right.
The more you exercise your learning muscle,
Yeah.
the stronger it gets.
I like that.
Yeah.
It makes self-education seem a lot less
Right.
intimidating.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can build it up over time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's not just talking about reading books, taking online courses.
Right.
Those can be helpful. He's a big advocate of
Yeah.
learning by doing.
Yeah.
Taking on new challenges,
Right.
getting outside your comfort zone.
So it's about like actually putting it into practice.
Yeah, it's
Not just
knowing it, accumulating it.
Right. You got to use it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, especially when you consider,
Yeah.
his background
Yeah.
in entrepreneurship.
Exactly.
You don't build a successful business by
Right.
just reading about it,
Right.
right? And
You gotta
you got to get out there.
get out there
Yeah.
and do it.
and do it.
Yeah. And I think that's
What's why?
why his message is
Yeah.
resonating with so many people.
Right. It's practical,
It's
actionable,
yeah.
based on real world experience.
Exactly.
He doesn't just tell you what to do.
Yeah.
He shows you how he did it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So going back to that young man he was advising, he told him to, figure out his passion, right? Monetize it, and become a master through self-education.
Right.
Let's break that down a bit.
Okay.
Finding your passion.
Yeah.
It's pretty daunting in itself.
I know.
Yeah.
It can
Like,
be.
How would you even
Right.
approach that?
Well, the Spira talks a lot about introspection,
Okay.
taking the time
Yeah.
to really think about your values, your interests, what really motivates you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's not always,
Yeah.
a quick or easy process,
No.
but it's so essential
Right.
for finding a path that's both fulfilling
Yeah.
and sustainable.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So he encourages people to
Yeah.
experiment,
Mm-hmm.
try different things,
Yeah.
see what sparks their
Yeah.
curiosity.
It's like you need to try a few different flavors
I love that.
of ice cream
Yeah.
before you can decide which one
That's a great
it's
analogy.
your favorite.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And once you've identified,
Mhm. Yeah.
a potential passion,
Right.
the next step is,
Okay, how do we
how do you monetize it?
make money from this?
Right. And that can be
That's the tricky part.
tricky,
Yeah.
especially if you don't have a
I'm s-
traditional
Yeah, if you're not coming from like
business background.
a business background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's one thing to love painting
Mhm.
or writing poetry,
Right.
but to actually turn that into
Yeah, how do you
a source of income,
Well,
that's
totally
a
different.
whole other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I think Spira's experience as an entrepreneur
Right.
really comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
He really emphasizes
Yeah.
how important it is
Right.
to identify a need in the market,
Mm-hmm.
develop a unique value proposition,
Right.
and build a solid
Right.
business model.
So it's not just about, blindly following your passion.
No, you need a plan.
You need a plan.
Yeah.
You need a realistic
Yes,
exactly to
Yeah.
to make it work financially.
Absolutely.
Which is,
Again, something that a lot of people struggle with.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where that self-education
This is where it becomes so crucial.
becomes crucial.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
all about continuous learning,
Yeah.
staying up to date on
Right.
industry trends,
Mhm.
refining your skills, your knowledge.
He doesn't believe in waiting
No.
for opportunities to come.
You got to create them.
You got to make them happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to his incredible story of transformation.
Right.
You know, going from
Yeah.
facing this major setback
With that smear campaign.
Yeah. To building a successful career in real estate.
And then pivoting into the world of fintech.
Yeah. He's a living example
Yeah.
of what's possible
Right.
when you combine passion, hard work, and a commitment to lifelong learning.
And it's inspiring how he uses his platform
I think so too.
to share his story and empower others
Yeah,
to achieve their own goals.
I agree.
He's not just like
No, he's more than that.
a successful entrepreneur.
He's a mentor, a guide.
Yeah, a mentor.
Yeah, a source of inspiration
Yeah.
for so many people.
And speaking of inspiration,
Yeah.
we got some testimonials from people who've been impacted by his work. One of them, Jessica, mentioned how Spira's entrepreneurial success after overcoming adversity, how that inspired her organization.
Right.
I'm curious, what do you think? Like, what specifically?
I think it's that,
Yeah.
you know, that combination of resilience and innovation.
Right.
You know, she probably saw in him
Yeah.
someone who not only bounced back, but used that experience
Right.
to fuel his creativity and drive.
So it's not just about
No.
surviving adversity.
No, it's about thriving.
It's about thriving.
Yeah.
Yeah, using those challenges as like
Yeah.
stepping stones
Stepping stones, exactly.
to reach higher.
Greater heights.
Yeah, and that's powerful message.
Yeah, it is a powerful message.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how that would resonate with
That
someone
res-
leading an organization.
Yeah, there are always
Right.
setbacks and business obstacles, and it's how you respond to them
Yeah,
that determines your success.
that determines your success. Yeah.
Yeah.
We also heard from another Jessica
Okay.
who said that Spira's life coaching really boosted her confidence
That's great.
and motivation.
Yeah.
What do you think it is about his
About his coaching style that makes it so.
I think it's his ability to
Yeah.
combine empathy with accountability. You know, he creates a safe space
Yeah.
for people to share their vulnerabilities and
Yeah.
challenges,
Yeah.
but he also pushes them
Right.
to step outside their comfort zone
Right.
and take action.
Take action.
Yeah.
So it's not just about feeling good.
No, you gotta.
I had to do it.
Yeah, you gotta do the work.
Yeah.
You gotta see results.
It's about making progress.
Yes.
Yeah.
He helps people bridge that gap
Yeah.
between intention and action.
And that's often where people get
That's where people get stuck.
stuck. Yeah. There was one more testimonial that I thought was really interesting from Kate,
Right.
and she talked about how
Yeah.
Spira's insights and guidance were really invaluable for her personal growth.
Okay.
What do you think it is about his approach that makes it so effective for personal development?
One thing that I think sets Spira apart is the focus on mindset.
Right.
He believes that our thoughts and beliefs, they really shape our reality. So he encourages people to, you know, to identify and challenge
Right.
those limiting beliefs that might be holding them back.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
He also emphasizes the importance of gratitude,
Right.
mindfulness,
Yeah.
cultivating a positive outlook.
So it's not just about
Right.
achieving external success.
It's more than that.
It's about,
It's also about cultivating inner
achieving.
peace and fulfillment.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that really comes across, I think, in everything he
does.
in everything he does.
Yeah.
He's not just talking the talk.
He's walking the walk.
He is walking the walk.
Yeah.
He's constantly challenging himself,
Yeah.
taking on new ventures, pushing the boundaries.
He
That's
is.
possible.
And what's really remarkable is
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like he's driven by ego
Right.
or,
Yeah.
a need for external validation. He genuinely wants to make a positive impact.
Right.
And empower others to do the same.
It's almost like he took that negative experience with
Right.
the online smear campaign
Yeah.
and turned it into a force
Yeah.
for good.
I see that.
Instead of letting it define him, he used it as fuel to
To create something positive.
create something positive and meaningful.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks to his resilience and his ability to find, meaning and purpose, even in the face of...
Even when things are tough?
Yeah, when things are tough.
Yeah.
It's a powerful reminder that we all
can do that.
We all can.
Yeah.
It's definitely an inspiring story.
I think so.
I think there's a lot we can
learn
from Andrew Spira's journey, and
sure.
He showed us it's possible to overcome challenges, to achieve success on your own terms.
Absolutely.
And to use your experience to make a positive impact.
To make a difference.
Yeah. But as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious to know what resonated most with you.
For me, it's his emphasis on self-education and continuous learning. It's a reminder that we're never too old or too experienced to learn something new.
Absolutely.
And that the pursuit of knowledge and personal growth, it's a lifelong endeavor.
It's a lifelong endeavor.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I think that ties in nicely with his with his advice to find your passion and monetize it.
Yeah, because
if you're constantly learning,
if you're always learning
and growing, you're more likely to discover those new interests and opportunities that you might not have considered before.
I agree.
So to our listeners, as you continue on your own journey, remember the lessons we've learned from Andrew Spira today. Embrace challenges as opportunities for growth.
For sure.
Never stop learning and exploring.
Yeah.
And most importantly, believe in your own potential.
Yes.
To create a life that is both meaningful and fulfilling.